Today we are going to talk very briefly about who Brutus Partners is. That's me, Kara Stiles from Brutus Partners, so I'll talk about that. And after that, I'll talk just a little bit about what SCORM is, and we'll take a brief look at the inside of a SCORM package. But we're going to spend most of our time today looking at how you can actually play SCORM in Sakai. And there are a couple of different ways that you can play SCORM in Sakai, and the two ways that I have found to be most reliable in terms of SCORM playback and students' ability to interact with the SCORM package in a reasonable way are by using a system called SCORM Cloud, which has a lot of features. It is not free, though. And then the other fairly reliable option is to just play SCORM in Sakai without using SCORM Cloud. That option has some limited features, but it is free. So after this webinar, I hope you'll be armed with enough information to at least make a decision if you're going to use SCORM in Sakai about how to actually cause SCORM to be played in Sakai. So you'll be able to choose and make an informed decision about SCORM Cloud or just playing SCORM in Sakai. All right, so let's talk about Brutus Partners. We offer training and implementation consulting for Sakai and Lesson Cloud, and Lesson Cloud is actually our hosted instance of Sakai, and we let individuals as well as nonprofits and smaller organizations and small businesses use Lesson Cloud for teaching and learning. So oftentimes, smaller organizations don't necessarily need to implement their own entire LMS. So it's kind of like a space rental agreement. You use Lesson Cloud for hosting your courses, but you don't actually own your own instance of Sakai. So that's kind of what we do. There is going to be an upcoming training event. It's called Sakai Lesson Cloud Bootcamp. It's an online course that is facilitated by me, and it's 5 weeks long. Starts December 16th. The week of Christmas, there will be no actual live events, so you kind of get the week of Christmas off, but it is going to be 5 full weeks. So if you'd like more information on that, please feel free to visit brutuspartners.com and click on the public training area for more information on that. Let's talk about SCORM. So SCORM is an acronym, and what it means is in this first bullet here. It's essentially just a collection of standards that says or kind of defines how an individual or a content producer or an instructional designer or developer should create their learning content so that it can be played in essentially any learning management system or any type of learning system. But really, so SCORM's the standard. So what happens with SCORM then is if you want to use SCORM in any of your LMSs, you first have to create what's called a SCORM package. And you can use different types of software to create a SCORM package. Articulate is one of those types of software. There's also Captivate, SoftChalk, Camtasia. None of those systems are free, so you have to pay for them, but those are the systems that I think are most frequently used for creating SCORM content. So SCORM is, a SCORM package is really just a zip file, and inside of the zip file there are a whole bunch of other interesting technical looking files. So what I'm showing you right now on my computer screen is just a zip file and an unzipped version of a file. Something that's interesting about SCORM packages is, and not everybody knows this, is that they can play on their own. You don't have to use a special SCORM player in order to play your SCORM package. Now, SCORM players have fuller features and can do more cool and interesting things with your SCORM package, especially evaluating and or assessing how students are doing and giving students grades and so forth. But if you just want your students to play a SCORM package, or if you just want to see what a SCORM package looks like, you could just unzip it on your own computer and figure out which HTML file inside of the SCORM package is the actual start file for that SCORM package, and then your default browser will open up and you'll be able to immediately start interacting with the SCORM package. So SCORM packages are supposed to be interactive. They're supposed to look nice. A lot of them have some combination of videos and quiz questions and activities. And as you can see here, I am performing some type of interactive activity here, right? I'm doing something inside of the SCORM package. So the SCORM package it's just kind of a web page that first does things, and second, has the ability to track what students are doing and how students are doing within that package. So that's kind of, at least from a functional and non-technical perspective, what a SCORM package is. It's really just a zip file. You can unpack that zip file and you can play SCORM from any place that you'd like, including your own computer desktop. But if you do want to get some more features and get real benefits from SCORM packages that you're playing or causing your students to access within the LMS, then you'll probably want to consider using a system called SCORM Cloud. So I'm just going to jump to the next slide in the presentation here. The first thing you have to do before you can start using SCORM Cloud and its integration features in Sakai is you have to get a SCORM account. So like I said before, this is an option that is not in fact free. So you do have to pay for a SCORM Cloud account, and I do not actually work for SCORM Cloud at all, but I am going to show you their pricing information just because it's available publicly on their website. So as you can see, there are different tiers of service, and these tiers and the pricing depends on basically the number of users you have, as well as how often you expect those users to access a SCORM package. SCORM Cloud integrates with Sakai in a couple of different ways. And so if you were to ask your systems administrator, do we have SCORM Cloud integration on our Sakai implementation? And they say yes, they could mean one of many things. So I'm going to go back to the slide and just kind of talk about the different ways that you can have a SCORM Cloud account that integrates with Sakai. So one thing a school could do is go to SCORMcloud.com and purchase some type of account. And when that happens, your SCORM content, even if you're integrating SCORM with Sakai, or if you're integrating SCORM Cloud with Sakai, is actually hosted inside of SCORM Cloud. It's not hosted in Sakai. There's a connection there, but your content gets hosted inside of SCORM Cloud. Another option is for an institution to just purchase the SCORM Cloud account and install an instance of SCORM Cloud locally. So it's a little bit different from that first option that I was sharing with you, because in this second case, your school has paid for like a license to use SCORM Cloud, but your institution is responsible for running SCORM Cloud and hosting it and hosting the content that gets uploaded into it. A third option is for each instructor to purchase their own individual SCORM Cloud account. And in fact, there is a free SCORM Cloud account option which offers 10 registrations, which isn't a lot, but it's at least enough for me to do a demonstration today. So I actually have a free account at SCORM Cloud. It's called a trial account, and as far as I can tell, it doesn't end on any specific date, so I can just continue to use this trial account if I want to. So if you want to practice what you've learned today, then you're certainly more than welcome to sign up for one of those free SCORM Cloud accounts and see what you're able to do with that. You've got some more options, though, to consider when you choose, or if you choose to use SCORM Cloud. So one of those options is to use the SCORM Cloud Sakai integration and your school's SCORM Cloud account. So option one is the option where you don't have an individual personal SCORM Cloud account. Your school or your organization has a big SCORM Cloud account, and everybody at your organization can use that SCORM Cloud account to provide students with access to your SCORM content. So what needs to happen then, if your institution chooses to sign up for a deal with SCORM Cloud, is you'll need to have like a member of your technical team or your IT team install the integration code. So SCORM Cloud, some folks at SCORM Cloud wrote an integration that works with Sakai, and that code is freely available, and you can get to it or you can link to it from the SCORM Cloud website. But that's a really technical way to do it, but if you have a developer or a systems administrator who knows how to deploy new code to a Sakai implementation, then they should be able to do that for you. Once that happens, your Sakai administrator is going to have to log in and go to the SCORM Cloud configuration area and input some configuration values. So let me show you what that looks like. So what I'm showing you right now is something that you would see like from an administrator's perspective, and I am borrowing my friends at anisakai.com website, their Sakai instance, to show you what that looks like. So here's what an administrator sees once the SCORM Cloud software is integrated with Sakai. There's a SCORM Cloud tool, and because I'm logged in as an administrator, I have the ability to configure the SCORM Cloud plugin. So the administrator then goes to SCORM Cloud and logs in with your school's ID and password. There we go. And then I think somewhere within this account information, I can't remember exactly where, but there is information somewhere within this space on what your secret configuration values are. I probably should have written myself instructions on how to find that again. But anyhow, you'll log into SCORM Cloud as the administrator for your institution. You'll get some information from that account, and the specific pieces of information are the app ID and the secret key. The service URL is usually automatically populated. So once your Sakai administrator does that, then you get kind of an interesting experience for your instructors, and it's actually kind of fun. So once SCORM Cloud is all configured and your Sakai instance knows that it is talking to SCORM Cloud, a little feature, a new little feature, appears inside of resources in any site that uses the resources tool. So if I wanted to, I could click this add function, and now I have the option to upload a SCORM package. So I'm just going to stop for a second and see if there are any questions so far. Nope. Okay, good. I'll keep going then. All right, so once you have a SCORM package, and this could be a SCORM package that you made by yourself, or it could be a SCORM package that somebody else made for you, you will find that SCORM package on your computer, and you'll want to upload it into your course. And you'll also want to give it a title. So this is going to be my I Love Golfing example. And here is a somewhat undesirable feature of the SCORM Cloud integration. By default, under grading, the least desirable option is selected by default. Same thing is true under launch behavior. So if you want to avoid getting very, very mad at SCORM Cloud, then you'll want to make sure you select those two bottom options while you're uploading your SCORM package. Because if you don't select those two bottom options, there's no real way to go back and change the options once you've finished the upload. So my workflow then from the instructor perspective is to just go to resources first. That's the first thing I do. I go to resources, I click upload SCORM package, and then I click import to import my SCORM package. So all that happens at this point is what appears to happen at this point is it appears that my SCORM package is being uploaded into Sakai. But that's not what's actually happening. I'm using Sakai to upload my SCORM package into SCORM Cloud. So SCORM Cloud is hosting my SCORM Cloud package, and I am not using a whole bunch of disk space in Sakai, because the only thing that happens in Sakai is I get a link. See here, it says I love golfing. This is actually just a link that allows your users to launch this SCORM package. Now, you might be wondering why all of these SCORM packages are in resources, when in fact not everybody really uses resources to teach or organize their course materials. These days, most folks are using the lessons tool or the lesson builder tool. So you could, if you wanted to, create a link in Lesson Builder to this I Love Golfing package, or if you want students to interact with this package, which happens to have a quiz built in it that's got 20 questions, and you want those 20 questions to be graded via SCORM Cloud, and you want those grades to be pushed into your Sakai gradebook, then you have to do something else at this point. So we are not done with the workflow yet. Once you have your SCORM package uploaded into resources, you'll go to assignments and create a new assignment. Now the way this works is really funky. And I'm actually going to go through the entire workflow, and then I'll log in as a student and I'll get a score, and we'll see what happens in the gradebook. But what you'll need to do is add a new assignment and give it a name. And typically when the SCORM package evaluates a student's performance inside of the SCORM package, when they take a little SCORM quiz or something, the SCORM system sends Sakai what the percentage is, the percentage score for the student. So you can just put 100 points in here under grade scale. Under assignment instructions, I would write something more reasonable than what I just did. You might I just did this in the interest of time, but you might want to type something like, click on the link below to access the assignment, and make sure you take the quiz at the end, and make sure you click submit, or something like that. So what we also want to do is select add this assignment to the gradebook. That's going to create the entry for this assignment in your Sakai gradebook. This works both with gradebook 1 and gradebook 2. And then the most important thing to do is to add your SCORM package as an attachment using the Add Attachments button. So I'm going to scroll down and select Attach a Copy next to my I Love Golfing package. Now you might be wondering, why can't you just upload a local, why can't you just upload the SCORM package directly to the assignment? And my answer is, well, you just can't, and I don't know why you can't. This is just kind of how the integration behaves. So you do have to upload the resources first, and then you can attach the resource to the assignment using the Add Attachments function while you're creating the assignment. So next, I'm going to continue with my assignment creation, and I just want to make sure I've added it to the gradebook, and I have. So I'll click Post. So now I've got an I Love Golfing assignment that's released to students. So now if I log in as a student, I should be able to start completing that assignment. So I'm going to actually do that next. But before I do, I'm just going to check in real quick, see if there are any questions in the question queue. And then, okay, so there's a question. So you can't use the free level of SCORM Cloud account to create SCORM content and then place it into a Sakai course. Oh, yes, you can. I'm going to show you that next. So this first option I'm showing you is about what to do when your institution has an institutional account in SCORM Cloud. But what I'm going to show you next is how to do it as an individual user. And it's a little bit more clunky in some places. It's smoother in others, though. So, well, I'll let you judge for yourself when you see it. So we're still on that first option, which is, you know, I'm an instructor. I'm part of a big institution, and my big institution has a big expensive account with SCORM Cloud. So now I'm going to log out of my instructor ID and log in as a student. And I'm going to go to that course and click on assignments. And I can see that I have an assignment called I Love Golfing, and I haven't started it. So now what I need to do is click on that link and click on the link to launch the SCORM package. So here I am now hanging out in SCORM Cloud, and this activity of launching the SCORM package causes like 3 separate pop-ups. I think there's a way to reduce the amount of pop-ups or reduce the number of pop-up screens that appear when the SCORM package is launching, but you can't get rid of pop-ups altogether. So if you're looking to play SCORM inline, the SCORM Cloud integration isn't going to let you do that. It's going to create a pop-up. So this is like 19 pages long, so I am not going to look at every page. I'm just going to pretend that I'm reading really fast, and I'm going to skip to the end where there's a quiz. So fortunately, this sample file tells me with bold lettering which of these answers is correct. So I can quickly go through this quiz. This is like, I don't know, I think like an 18-question quiz or something like that. So here we go. I'll get a couple wrong just for good measure. Just bear with me for a minute. Okay, so here I am. I'm a student. I'm clicking Submit Answers. I've submitted the answers. Now I'll click Exit, and some of the pop-up windows go away, but not all of them. So from my student perspective, I kind of have to know that this was a pop-up window and go back to my assignment here. So I've completed this thing here. Now Sakai wants me to enter some submission text, so I'll say I'm done, and then I click Submit. So there I am, a student. I've just interacted with the SCORM package, which had a quiz at the end of it, and I submitted that quiz. So now I'm going to log out and log back in as an instructor and go to my course. And first I'm going to show you what happened in the assignments tool. This is not going to impress you guys probably, but the assignments tool unfortunately does not record the grade that the student got on the assessment. So this integration actually, well, even though it makes you create a new assignment for the SCORM package in order for that assignment SCORM package to be graded, the integration doesn't actually put the grade into the assignments tool. It just sends the grade that the student got directly to the gradebook. So I'm using gradebook 2 in this example, and as you can see here on my I Love Golfing course, I got an 80, well, I got an 80% out of 100, so, or 80 points out of 100, which is about it's exactly an 80%. So, so I don't see my grade in assignments. I only see it in the gradebook tool. And again, I don't think that's the most desirable feature, but it at least works. So you can get grades from your SCORM packages into your Sakai gradebook. And like I said, I'm using gradebook 2 right now, but you could just as easily do this with gradebook 1. So that's the workflow for the option where your institution has an account that they're paying for with SCORM Cloud and everybody uses the same account. But what if you are just one person or a small organization and you're using a shared instance of Sakai and or you're using Lesson Cloud? Then you're going to have a personal SCORM Cloud account, and you're going to have to integrate your SCORM packages with into your course. So that workflow is much different from the workflow that I just showed you, where an institution has a SCORM Cloud account and the institution has implemented the SCORM Cloud integration. What we're going to do here from an individual perspective is we're going to use the Sakai LTI functions to integrate our SCORM packages with our Sakai course. So the first thing I need to do is turn the page on the steps that I wrote down because I do not, in fact, have them all memorized yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to, I'm going to close this, my instructor's user ID in Sakai. I'm just using the Lesson Cloud instance of Sakai because this is where I have been setting up my SCORM Cloud integration. And what I'm going to do just to keep things clean is I'm just going to create a new course site real quick. So here I am being an instructor, and we're going to call this SCORMy. Okay, so I want to use a couple of different tools. Just want to make sure I'm using the gradebook, resources. Okay. Okay, so now I should have a course called SCORMy. So here's what I can do in my course from my instructor's perspective. I can go to the site editor tool and from with, oh, you know what? I might, oh yeah, here it is. Sorry, I couldn't find my button for a second there. And go to this external tools function. This is a function that became available, I think, in Sakai 2.8. It may have been 2.9. I can't actually remember, but if you are using 2.8 or 2.8 or a newer version of Sakai, then you should have access to the external tools area. So what I need to do now is, and by the way, the external tools function is the function that helps instructors integrate Sakai with any tool that is an LTI producer or LTI provider. So I'm going to click this add, oops, sorry, I clicked the wrong button again. I should follow my instructions. So the first thing I need to do is click this tools available in system link. And then I need to select add LTI tool. So I'm going to call this tool my SCORM golf lesson. I'll just call it golf lesson. So I should have mentioned this before. When you are integrating SCORM Cloud, your SCORM Cloud personal account with Sakai, you have to use LTI to connect each time to each individual SCORM package. So if you have 5 different SCORM packages that are part of a single course, then you're going to go through this process 5 different times. Okay, so now I need to put a bunch of weird looking configuration values into some fields here. So I'm going to walk through that as well. And by the way, you don't have to memorize this. We are recording, so you'll be able to watch this again if you need to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my SCORM Cloud account, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a new SCORM package. So I'm going to select this add content function, and then I'm going to click course upload, and then I'm going to find the SCORM sample that I had that included a quiz, because that's important. Your SCORM package doesn't have to have a quiz in it. It could just be a SCORM package that students are supposed to interact with just for fun without any high stakes assessments, but I want to do a quiz. So I'm going to import this course into SCORM Cloud. So already the workflow is different, right? I have my SCORM package, but instead of going to Sakai and then going to my course and clicking resources, I'm just going directly to SCORM Cloud to upload this package. Now it's always a good idea to select the launch button just to check and make sure that your SCORM package works. So it looks like it's working, so that's great. I'm going to get out of here and go back. Oh no, I just closed the, oops, sorry guys. Give me a second, I'm just going to have to log in again to my SCORM Cloud account. Okay, here we go. All right, so So now if I go to my library, I can see I've got a couple of SCORM Cloud courses. Of course, I was QAing this webinar earlier this morning, so I have another version of the exact same SCORM package that I just uploaded. But my next step is to select the SCORM package that I uploaded and choose to dispatch it. What I'm doing here with SCORM Cloud is I'm saying, all right, I am going to give people access to this package through some other system. So users aren't going to go directly to SCORM Cloud to access this package. I'm going to do something interesting or different with it. So what I need to do is say create new destination, and I'm going to call this my SCORMy course and save it and create. Okay, so what happens here now is this particular course that I have uploaded and now dispatched has some very specific parameters associated with it. Now, what I want to do is, I'm going to find the right button. Ah, yes, okay. So now I want to deploy this to basic LTI. So what I need to do is select the SCORM package that I just uploaded and dispatched and click BLTI. This shows a pop-up and it gives me all the parameters I need to input into my Sakai course. So I'm like 8 windows away from where I was. Let me find my Sakai course. Here it is. Okay, so one configuration parameter I need is the launch URL. So I'm going to go copy that and paste it here. The next thing I need is a key. So I'm going to copy that and paste that here in the key field. And then I'm going to copy the secret. Oops, I think I accidentally copied too much text there. Okay. All right. I'm just going to check the question queue to see if you guys can still hear me or see if there are any problems. It looks like you can still hear me, so that's good news. I see a couple of questions, so as soon as I'm done with this, this last demo portion, I'll start answering those. So I have a launch URL, a launch key, and a launch secret. These are values that are associated with a specific SCORM package. So like I said before, this process that I'm going through right now is a process that I'm going to have to go through again if I'm going to have multiple SCORM packages within the same Sakai course. So there are some other configuration parameters that you can set. Whenever I create an LTI tool using this generic LTI tool setup page, I just kind of click all of the settings, even if some of them aren't available, or if the LTI tool that I'm connecting to doesn't care about some of these things, I just select them all anyway, just because it makes it easier for me to not mess things up. So, oh, there's one other thing here. So if you want the external tool, meaning if you want your SCORM package to be available in lessons, at least available to you to provide a link to your students in the lessons tool, then you'll want to select this option. And that way you'll be able to use your lesson builder tool to kind of organize the order of all the SCORM packages that you've uploaded. So I'm going to select yes here, or select the allow external tool to access the lessons API, and then I'm going to click save. So all I've done at this point with my instructor user ID is I've added a tool to the system. Generically, at least from an instructor's perspective, that just means I have made a tool available to myself. So now, because I'm in a course, I need to add that tool that I just made available to myself to this course. And I have an option, or I have a decision to make at this point. So I can choose to create a navigation item in the left-hand navigation area called Golf Lesson, so that when students click on that navigation item in the left navigation area called Golf Lesson, the SCORM package will launch. Or I can choose to embed the golf lesson inside of the Lesson Builder tool instead. There was one other thing that I forgot to show you that was kind of important, and I just remembered it, so I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm going to have to go back really quickly to the tool for just a second, or the integration for just a second. There is an option in here somewhere to have the external tool return grades. So this option here under services, when you're setting up this tool, is saying, okay, if this particular SCORM package has grades to give, then I want the grade book in Sakai to get those grades. So sorry about that. I just wanted to mention that that's kind of an important thing to select. Okay, now that I've got all of the parameters set for my golf lesson, I'm going to add it to my course. What I'm not going to do here is add a site link that puts the golf lesson in the left nav. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. It just depends on how you're going to run your course. I like running my course through a single instance of Lesson Builder, so I'm just going to save and next go to Lesson Builder, and let's see if I can remember where. Aha, yes. Okay, so you select Add Content and Add External Tool. And because I've made this external tool available to my course, it is going to allow me to embed a link to the golf lesson right here. And so now that I'm in lessons, I can give this item a description. The link above to access the golf lesson. Your experience in the golf lesson will be graded. There. Okay. So now I've made this golf lesson available to the students. I've written a little note, so as they're going through all of my lesson pages that I don't have here, they'll be able to click on that golf lesson and start taking the golf lesson. So let's see what happens next when I log in as a student. Okay, I'm going to go to my, oh, whoops, I didn't add my student to the course. Hang on just a second, guys. All right, let's go find that SCORMy course, and we'll add my student to it. Give me just a second. I forgot I'm using Lesson Cloud, so I have to go give myself permission to do that. You don't have to go through this process that I'm going through right now, by the way, so you can just ignore what I'm doing at the moment. Those of you who are admins, and I know some of you on this call are, you've probably seen a screen like this a couple of different times, maybe once or twice, maybe a few hundred times. I'm editing a realm to give myself permissions to do something. Okay, let's see. We'll go back to my SCORMy course, and now I can add participants into my course. So I'm going to add my student to the course. And then I'm going to log in with my student ID and interact with the SCORM package. Okay. So here I am being a student, and I'm going to go to my course, and I'm going to look at my lesson builder pages, and I'm going to somehow come across this golf lesson. And that golf lesson is going to launch for me in a new window. Let's try that one more time. Well, I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe I should just try and put it in the left nav instead. sorry guys, this worked this morning. Of course, that always happens. Okay. So let me go back to my SCORMing course and just add this as a tool to my site. Okay, let's try it this way. Okay, well, now it's opening. I must have done something wrong with that lesson builder setup, so I'm sorry about that, everyone. I had to change my method and instead made the SCORM package available in the left navigation. So it looks like now I can get through it pretty well, so that works. That's great. Let me log in with my student ID and see if I can access that now. There it is. Okay. Not sure why this looks so weird right now, but I'm just going to go ahead and take the test. I'm going to fail and get out of here. Okay. So now from my instructor perspective, that should have just found its way right into my gradebook. And it didn't. Of course it didn't. Well, let me show you the course that I was using this morning so you guys can see that it actually works. So here we have in Lesson Builder an option to launch the course. So that appears to be working properly. Now it's asking me if I want to resume from where I previously left off because I was testing this earlier. So, so the course works, at least from my demo course. And when I go into the gradebook, as you can see, my student who took this course during my testing earlier got a 93% on that SCORM Cloud item, or on that SCORM package. So not sure what I might have done wrong in my SCORMy course, but there's a very good chance that I skipped one of the instructions. So what I'm actually going to do after the end of this webinar is send you guys, or not send you guys this, but I'll post the PDF of the presentation on the brutuspartners.com website, and I'll have step-by-step instructions that do not include missing a step, which is what I may have done, so that you'll be able to do this yourself. So, but this is what it looks like. From the student perspective, they could either click on the course or the SCORM package from within the left nav, or you could use lesson pages to provide a link. So those are kind of the two different ways of using SCORM Cloud to integrate your SCORM content with Sakai. Before we move into the next set of instructions on how to play SCORM without using SCORM Cloud at all, I'm going to check in and see if there are some questions, and it looks like there are quite a few. So there's a question about have you found any browser issues with these pop-ups? Yes. In fact, at certain training implementations or certain training events that I've been to fairly recently, there were many browser issues with these pop-ups. And I think it really depends on what computer you're using. So if you're using a computer at your institution that is pretty locked down for security reasons or for any other reason, there may be pop-up blockers enabled on those machines, which makes it a lot harder to launch the SCORM packages because they do cause so many pop-ups. So yes, there has been a problem with pop-up blockers, and it is not always true that students notice or see the little tiny message that says, hey, there's a pop-up that we blocked. Do you want to do something about it? So Yeah, there's a question, no indication on the assignment that you completed the SCORM quiz. That's correct. So the SCORM integration through SCORM Cloud, even though you have to create an assignment in order to cause a grade from the SCORM package to get into the gradebook, the SCORM package actually bypasses the assignments tool, pushes the score right into the gradebook. Another question, can you embed the SCORM player on a lessons page? The answer to that is not without messing with the lesson builder code. I have seen this done before, and we were able to remove some pop-ups using some configuration that is available already in SCORM Cloud, but there was still a pop-up that kept coming up from within Sakai. So I was working on a project it was 2 years ago actually, where a developer just somehow figured out how to code lessons or change the code in lessons to not deal with a pop-up. But you can embed a SCORM package on a lesson builder page if and only if you play that SCORM package from within Sakai. So you can choose not to use SCORM Cloud, and you sacrifice some of the cool things that SCORM Cloud does, like sending grades to the gradebook and providing you with reports. But if you just have a SCORM package that you want students to interact with, and you don't care about assessing them or how they're doing or giving them grades, then you can just use your SCORM package without using SCORM Cloud. Another question is, can you see what questions the students got right or wrong? Not in Sakai, but if you log into SCORM Cloud and you look at the reports for that particular SCORM package, you can get and run all sorts of different reports, and I am sure which questions the students got wrong is going to be part of those reports. And someone asked if there are any websites available other than SCORM Cloud. I don't think so, but I don't actually know the answer to that. SCORM Cloud's like the big sort of SCORM company that just knows a whole bunch about SCORM, and so pretty much everyone's using them. And in fact, even some learning management systems who claim to be SCORM compliant aren't actually SCORM compliant on their own. They are also using Ristisi SCORM Cloud. So it's kind of what everyone's using. We have 2.9. When did this tool get added to Site Info Editor? If you have 2.9 and you don't see the external tools option in your site editor, it's probably because there is a configuration value in one of your property files that has been set to hide that tool. So some institutions do not want instructors doing LTI stuff on their own, and so they kind of take that option away. So that's probably what happened. Lots of questions, you guys. These are great. So the question, so does this method, using this method still only allow 10 students to use it? Yes, so as long as you're using that free account with Ristisi, you get 10 registrations per month. And so if you have 10 students this month and they each click on your SCORM package, you're kind of done for the month. And when that 11th student shows up, they're not going to be able to access that SCORM package. But next month, that 11th student could access the SCORM package because the registrations reset each month. I should issue a disclaimer. I am not a representative of Ristisi, and so none of the pricing or information that I'm giving you or the options that I'm giving you are binding me or Ristisi to anything in any way. This is just basically information from their website as I understand it. I think I understand it pretty well, but that's not a guarantee. Do you ever have to forward students about pop-up needs? I think maybe you might be asking about supporting students with pop-up needs. I think I answered that question earlier. There are sometimes pop-up issues. Another question, you have a few windows open. It might be trying to launch an already open package. Yeah, you might actually be right. Thank you for that. Yeah, when I was having some issues launching that package, there could be a whole slew of reasons for that. And one of those reasons is possibly because I've got a whole bunch of windows open and I'm logging in and out, launching SCORM packages all over the place with different user IDs. The SCORM grading is saved to the gradebook even if it's linked from a left navigation item. Yes, as long as when you added your SCORM tool using that external tool functions, you select that send grades to gradebook option. It didn't say exactly that, but it was the grades option. So as long as you select that, and as long as that SCORM package has an assessment that gives grades, then yes, that item should just get itself nicely pushed into the gradebook, and that's kind of that. Okay, should we look at the free option? This is an alternative option. This is an alternative option that does not cost you any extra money. You don't have to buy an account with Ristici. You can still play SCORM in Sakai, but the benefits that you're foregoing by doing this the free way is you're not going to get any reporting on how your students are doing inside of your SCORM packages, and you're not going to get any grades pushed into the Sakai gradebook. So I recommend using this if you've got SCORM packages that don't have high stakes assessments, and you know, when you don't need to know exactly what the students are doing inside of the SCORM package. So you know, at your own discretion, you should feel free to use the free option if you think that's going to work for you. I really like it, actually. So let's go to Sakai, and I'll show you how that works. I am actually just going to go back to my SCORM training course, and I think I'm just going to add a new lesson page. So we'll call this the, let me think, the free version. Okay, so here's the free version. And so you've got another workflow here that is different from the other two workflows we've seen. This workflow that I'm about to share with you is first you're going to log in with your instructor ID, which I've done already, and you're going to upload the SCORM package through Lesson Builder. Then you're going to make the SCORM package available in Lesson Builder using the start file that starts the SCORM package. It's usually an HTML file. And you're either going to make that SCORM package available in Lesson Builder via a link that deploys a pop-up, or you're just going to put that SCORM package right in line on the page. And I'll show you both of those different ways to do it. But first, we have to upload the SCORM package. So I'm using Lesson Builder now. It's also called Lesson Pages or Lessons at various Sakai implementations. I don't know what you're calling your instance of Lesson Builder, but you probably at this point know which tool I'm talking about. But what you want to do is first just go to any old Lesson Builder page. It doesn't matter which one, you just have to go to any old Lesson Builder page and click Add Content. Then select the Upload Content in Zip File option, and then find the zip file that you want to upload. So in my case here, I'm just going to upload a zip file that does not have a quiz. I could still upload the file that has the quiz, but my students aren't going to get any sort of grade on that quiz because of the way that I'm choosing to use my SCORM package in Sakai. I'm not using Ristici, I'm just using Sakai. So now that I've chosen my zip file, I'm going to click Save, and then we will wait patiently for that file to upload. It shouldn't take too long here. And what's actually happening is the zip file is getting uploaded into Sakai resources. Even though I'm using Lesson Builder, the file gets uploaded into resources. The reason I used Lesson Builder is because that Lesson Builder option, when you select Add Content and you go to upload a content in a zip file, actually unpacks that zip file and puts it into your resources. So I have the zip file here, and I have the unpacked version of the zip file. So here I am hanging out in resources, and right now I've got my course set up so that students can access resources, but because I'm going to have a whole bunch of unpacked SCORM packages in resources, I might be like, you know, I actually don't want students to see the resources tool, so I'm just going to hide it really quick by clicking the little light bulb option in the site editor. So now, or in the page order function of the site editor, so now resources is italicized. Students can't actually see the resources tool, which means they're going to have to go to my lesson pages in order to access that content. So the first thing you can do is you can use your add content function and select add content link. Click select an existing resource, and here's the obnoxious part. You have to click and look and click and look and click and look again until you can find the start file. It often starts with introduction or index, but not always. So sometimes you have to spend a little bit of time just kind of figuring out which HTML file inside the package is the start file. So that's a little bit obnoxiously technical. But I'm going to select it because I just know that the introduction.html file is the start file for the SCORM package. And now my students are able to just click the link from within lessons to launch that SCORM package. And I get one pop-up here instead of like 4. So there's another difference between just using Sakai and using Sakai with Ristisi when you have a bunch of extra pop-ups. I can also just change the name of this link. So I can say click here to launch the package in a new tab. Oh, we wouldn't call it a package for our students. We would call it a lesson. We would call it the golf lesson. Oh, wait, no, this is a science lesson. Okay. All right, so that's one option. You can cause your students to access a link to the SCORM package. They click on the link, it opens in a new window. Or let's say that you would rather just make that SCORM package available on a page. So I'm just creating another blank lesson builder page really quick just to keep these two methods separate. So now what I'm going to do is select add content, and instead of clicking the add content link, I'm instead going to click on embed content on page. And I just go through the same process that I just went through. I select an existing resource, and then I search for and find the, let's see, where was it? That index or introduction.html file, there it is. I can select that and click continue. And we'll wait a minute. And there it is. So initially when you first put this SCORM package into Lesson Builder, the frame gets a default height. So you do have to use your edit function to change the height to like 800 or something like that. That usually works. 800 is sometimes even too big. But now when my user clicks on the sub page or the lesson page, they don't have to deal with opening a new window. They can just look at and interact with the package here. Again, a disadvantage of using this method is that you're not getting all the reporting and you're not getting any grades pushed into your grade book. But what you are getting is a pretty decent user experience, I think. So if you don't actually care about reporting and grading your SCORM packages, then I think this option would work very well for you. Another thing I should mention is that when you are using SCORM Cloud integration to upload and display your SCORM packages to the students from your Sakai course, and then you maybe next term duplicate your Sakai course, you are going to have to re-upload all of your SCORM packages. So for those of you who are teaching the same course or courses over and over and over again, you will be re-uploading all of your SCORM packages every time you create a new iteration of a course. That does not copy over, if you will, correctly when you duplicate a course or when you use import from site. However, if you use this free method, it works a lot better. So that's another advantage to using the free method. So I've actually got one last slide that I wanted to share. No, yeah, two last slides that I wanted to share with you guys. So I just kind of created a comparison chart so that you can kind of weigh the advantages and disadvantages of using each option, whether you're using the institutional SCORM Cloud account, a personal SCORM Cloud account, and integrating either of those with Sakai, either via the custom code integration or via LTI, and when you use Sakai only. I was supposed to put a yes in this box there. Okay, so that says yes. And I meant to put a no in this box. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I just wrote that chart right at the end of my preparation time today. So, okay, I am going to stop talking for just a second and jump into that question queue and see if there are some more questions. So I have some more questions, so that's great. So the question is, if a student accesses a package hosted at SCORM Cloud on the same activity more than once, does it count twice or once? Good question. It only counts once. So once a student has accessed the package, they can continue to go to that package again without sucking up another registration. And that is how I understand the RISC-CC pricing and terms. So that's not something I'm saying is definitely true, but I'm pretty sure that is true. Someone's asking about if there are any free SCORM compliant editors out there. You know, I don't actually know. There was one called like Runtime SCORM or something like that. If you Google it, you'll see, if you look for free SCORM editors, you'll find something. I remember trying to use it a couple of years ago and I just could not figure it out. So I ended up having to pay for Articulate. So look what happened. Are there any clearinghouses of SCORM content that could be used in widely offered courses? So you're looking for some content or content that already exists. I don't know how well I can answer that. All of the SCORM packages that I've been playing with are sample SCORM packages and they're not real courses. I do know that a lot of publishers create and sell SCORM packages for folks to use inside of their LMS. So you could probably buy some from pretty much any publisher that publishes textbooks for education at this point, but I can't recommend any. So someone says, so doing it the free way does allow it to be in line. Yeah, so I just showed you that, and so it is a nice experience for the students to kind of see that in line as opposed to having to open a bunch of pop-up windows. Another comment, it looks like self-hosted is almost the best option. Yeah, I think that's true, almost. I mean, if you just want your students to interact with the packages and learn from them, and you're not doing any high-stakes assessments or reporting, then yeah, just totally use the free option. That works pretty well. Okay, we've gone over an hour. I'm sorry to have kept you guys. We're about 6 minutes over, so I'm actually going to kind of officially end the webinar here, and if you have to go, please feel free to go. I am going to stick around for maybe 30 seconds to a minute or so to see if any more questions come into the question queue. But otherwise, I want to thank you guys for coming, and of course, I'd like to remind you that the Sakai Boot Camp starts on December 16th, and you can register for that at brutuspartners.com. So thanks, everyone, and have a great afternoon, and perhaps I'll see you again on another webinar. Take care.